been away quite a bit, and if you're away at specific days, like Mondays, for example, then, well, this segment, Moral Maze, I don't do. And so Jack Fonseca, I thought he was dead. But no, he's still... Hello, how are you?
Hello, I missed you. I'm glad you're back.
Because every 3 weeks you're here. Anyway, it's been a long time, but it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks.
And let's get straight into this. It wasn't really scheduled on our list, but Barack Obama, this man from a mixed marriage, but a black man who has achieved so much. I disagree with him on all sorts of issues, but at a Planned Parenthood dinner, he says, God bless Planned Parenthood, founded by Margaret Sanger, who said that black people should be sterilized. And the idea of a black-white relationship, and she said, was grotesque. How can he... I understand he's playing a bit of a game here, and he's actually very pro-abortion, but to say such a thing, did nobody tell him about what this organization was?
I think that just shows how radical he is. He's a culture of death radical, and he really doesn't care about the inherent racism of Planned Parenthood. I'm sure he's been told about it, but it really doesn't matter, because his sexual politics and the radicalism that he envisions for the future is more important. The fact that Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger has targeted black people for extermination because they viewed them as...
And even now, I mean, as you know, there's that infamous video where someone from a pro-life group calls and says, I want to donate to you, but I only want black babies aborted. And they say, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll take the money. Yeah. We'll take the donation, sure. Yeah. We can help with that. Yeah, it's really astounding. And in the case of Kermit Gosnell now, this... House of Horrors abortionist from Philadelphia, Barack Obama's refused to comment. And this guy, listening to the testimony coming out of the trial, his murder trial, it sounds more like the actions of a serial killer than a licensed physician. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of babies beheaded after a botched abortion that resulted black babies. Yep. Yeah, and he had a separate area for black babies, where for black women they were treated less well than white women. You know, snipping their necks, stabbing them in the neck with a scissor, and severing their spinal cord.
Doing things that slave masters didn't do, for goodness. I mean, this is vile on so many levels, and Obama would not viscerally react as a black man and say, this is, even though, okay, I support abortion, this is, you know, he says, this is just going too far. It doesn't even seem to make him uncomfortable. No? And the silence of the left is extraordinary. This is a race-based issue, as big abortion often is. They're targeting communities where they believe there's a certain vulnerability, particularly at this point, the black community in the U.S.
The biggest killer of blacks in America is the abortion industry. That's how the most black people die every year. It's astounding, and there's black pro-life organizations that try to bring home this message to the general public to show how racist it is and how it's really targeting the black community and reducing their numbers.
And we understand, obviously, poverty is an issue, racism less so, but poverty, inner city life and family breakdown. When we're not naive, there's a context here. But those issues can be dealt with and must be dealt with. But the answer is not to say don't have babies. And I mean, in New York, you will meet people, not only on the left, by the way, the neocon right, who will say, well, the crime has gone down, and it's because of abortion. And they won't say certain words, but it's code for we're having less black people being born.
And that's such a dangerous piece of logic to follow, because if you think about it, it also follows that, well, what about those 2-year-olds that are born into hard conditions, let's say in the black community where there's a lot of crime? Should we allow the killing of 2-year-olds?
As you know,
because they're fatherless, because there's a lot of crime in that community. It's a very dangerous logic. And what we're seeing, and it connects to this Gosnell trial, because this man is committing infanticide by the hundreds, and it's being accepted by the medical community. Even in Canada, it's being accepted, where the Conservative MPs several months ago had pointed out that there were 491 deaths that resulted because babies were left to die after botched abortion. So infanticide is being accepted, and we're moving in that direction as a society.
Well, Gosnell, we can't show some of the photographs. If you go to the internet and Google, and be warned, don't do it if there are children around. I don't think they should see these if they're too young. But the photographs of what went on, it's very difficult to look at. It's quite vile. And I'm still convinced that if this had been in a white middle-class neighborhood and with white babies, I think there'd be more of a reaction than there is now. Speaking of silly white liberals, Gwyneth Paltrow, who, I mean, every radical cause, she will be there. And the mock English accent, because her boyfriends, and I mean, the whole thing is so silly on so many levels. But designing string bikinis for little girls, really?
Yeah, it's really, you know, there's parents groups are up at arms, psychologists, children's psychologists are up at arms over this because I've seen the photos, and maybe you can show them on screen here, but
yeah, there's one
these are bikinis designed by her company and being sold by her company on our website that they're held together by strings that can easily come apart. They sexualize little girls.
These are the less explicit ones we're seeing here, so I'm not sure why we're actually showing.
Yeah, there's much more explicit ones than what we're seeing here. They're two-piece bikinis held together by strings. Little girls can't even be little girls on the beach. They can't run around. They can't do headstands. They can't splash in the water. They're being treated as sexual objects and you know, being exposed to lewd looks by God knows what kind of perverts. And it's, you know, some of these child psychologists are saying, listen, this is wrong of Gwyneth Paltrow because she is promoting, with these string bikinis, she's promoting a loss of innocence, sexualization of these kids, low self-esteem, and even eating disorders, because the girls, these little 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds are going to think about how they look. That's what's important.
And we should emphasize, it's not conservative or Christian groups that I mean, they are angry, but a lot of the people criticizing her are feminists, are psychologists, psychiatrists who have a more left-wing analysis, actually, who are saying, this is very, very wrong what you're doing. What, to make even more money?
Yeah, yeah, it's really insane. It's perverse.
The case of the Winnipeg woman who wanted to end her own life. Now, many people would say to you, if somebody wants to end their own life, that's entirely up to them.
Sure, that's up to them, and people can commit suicide, and we can't put them in jail after they've done that. It's very unfortunate if they do, but in this case, this Winnipeg woman went to Zurich and paid a suicide clinic to kill her. They gave her a poison cocktail, and she drank it and died. And she left behind a letter to all federal members of parliament urging them to change the law. Now, what immediately happened was a human rights organization in Canada, the Council for Canadian Disabilities, you know, they exposed one of the many dangers, and that is this woman, what she explained in her letter and a video that she did, her reason for wanting to kill herself was because of her disability. She could no longer walk the way she used to. She needed personal care, and couldn't do all the things she used to. She had a disability.
She could fly to Switzerland.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But what this disability rights group said is, she is sending the message, and all the media that's participating in this orgy around this event is sending the message to people with disabilities in Canada. A disability is a fate worse than death. Yeah. You should kill yourself.
And in I mean, there are people who are severely disabled, and there's not a lot they can do. They can barely function. Even that is still a dignity of life. Not that I know what dignity means really. I mean, if you're alive, you're alive. I don't think we should grade. But in this case, here is a woman who could get to the airport, fly out there, and we've all come across people who've wanted to die just because the quality they once enjoyed is no longer there. It's still quality, it's still dignity, it's still sacred, but it's changed a bit. And to send letters to MPs, I think it's an ultimate act of selfishness.
And to put disabled people at risk who are already suffering discrimination and pressure, and especially with scarce healthcare dollars in the healthcare system, they're going to be subtly suggested that, hey, you know, there's this other option, assisted suicide and euthanasia. It's disgusting.
It's no accident that the most angry and frightened people when it comes to euthanasia are members of the disabled, handicapped community. They're already devalued and denigrated and debased. We deny it, but that is true. And now they're being told by very clever people, actually, no, you're the sort of people who maybe should. I won't say it's a pleasure, because it's bloody awful. But it's important that we have you on the show, you and your colleagues, every Monday. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michael.